Senior Fellow at the Hoover Institution. Ari, the left comparing last night, they're still on this, and it doesn't look like it's made any dent in the polls. Last night was a Nazi rally in 1939. What does that tell you?
Yeah, Laura, I don't feel the need to talk about this very often, but I will tonight. I'm a first-generation American. My mother came to the United States in 1939 because she fled the Nazis. She, her parents, and her brother were the few Hungarian relatives I have who saw the threat, left on what we believe was the last passenger ship to cross the Atlantic before the U-boats started to sink everything that moved across the Atlantic. The German Nazi U-boats. Most of my family perished in the Holocaust. I have very few relatives left. That's who the Nazis are. I don't need the Democrats to remind me of that. By making these things up, by making our American politics that the people who might beat them, the people they don't like because of domestic political issues, are fascists, are Nazis. Politically, it's the dumbest thing the Democrats could do. The few undecided who are left, anybody who hasn't made up their mind, they're the exact people who hate this type of rhetoric. And this is the Democrats' closing message. Morally, it's reprehensible. For anybody to invoke Adolf Hitler in American political life against somebody like Donald Trump, who's the essence of democracy. He won a contested primary. He may win a contested presidential election. This is a despicable thing that the Democrats are doing. And I'm here to personally tell you, I reject it. It's historically wrong. It's morally wrong. It's factually wrong. It's wrong in every sense of the word.
It's so despicable. As they say, oh, when they go low, we go high. That was a lie, right, Victor? Mm-hmm. You and I have talked about this, but I think of FDR's speech in 1936, obviously JFK in 1962. They spoke about the American dream, the American ethic, the American tradition. Americans deserve better. If there are any parallels, you can find them in those two speeches. Your reaction to what they're still sticking with tonight?
Well, I think Trump is really saying, you're right about FDR. He said the only thing you have to fear is yourself. There's no limitations on what we can do. We can secure the border. Don't worry about being ostracized or doxxed or criticized or called all these names. We can reduce crime. We can refashion our foreign policy. And everything's possible. And we're no longer just going to be stereotyped as a elitist party of wealthy white people and the Republicans that play golf. That wasn't a fair stereotype, but that's what it was. He's replaced race with class. And he said, we're an upper, middle, and lower middle class party. And everybody's invited. And that's why it terrifies the old never Trump elite on the Republican side. They don't like that. Neither does the left. And more importantly, when he created this new movement, this new Republican Party, he showed what the left has become in their anger and their fury and their frenzy. They're really a party of the out-of-touch, wealthy elite. That's who the Obamas are, the Clintons are, the Harrises are, the Silicon Valley people. They're really furious about this because they've been shown to be emperors without any clothes. They really only care about themselves and these esoteric elite agendas that destroy the middle class, of which they have no compassion. So we're at the end of a decade-long story. The Russian collusion, Russian disinformation, lawfare, get him off the ballot, 2 assassination attempts. And what are they left with? All they're left with is he's Hitler. He's a fascist. He's a Nazi. And,
Ari is right.
That's what they're left with.
Yeah, which means officially it's both offensive, but it means they're out of ideas. Ari, John Fetterman actually brought up the Pennsylvania problem for Democrats. Watch this quick response.
Anybody spends time driving around and you can see the intensity. It's astonishing. I was doing an event in Indiana County, very, very red, and there was a superstore of Trump stuff. It was almost like Taylor Swift kind of swag. It's like of everything.
All right, quickly.
Well, he's right. I've been in Pennsylvania, too, and he's absolutely right. Laura, when Obama was president, Democrats had a 1.3 million voter registration edge in Pennsylvania. It was reported today it's now below 300,000, a million voter gain for Republicans in Pennsylvania.
Ari, Victor, thank you both very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click